The views expressed in the Up Inside Your podcast are that of its presenters and do not reflect the views of its sponsors.
However, side effects may include laughter, love, black business promotion, constructive criticism, understanding, laughter, fun, withdrawal symptoms when we go on vacation, laughter, and scintillating conversation.
We two people there, so going on here. You see what's going on here.
We ready to plug in?
Yeah,
We ready?
yeah, we got
What,
wait to
what,
hear my man
what
said that
count
we
down?
on though.
We count
Huh?
down. 5, 4, 3, 2. And good night,
What?
everybody.
We two
Welcome
people
back. Welcome back.
there,
Welcome
so
back. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Podcast. We've been gone for a minute, but we back now. Back like we never left.
good evening, Barbados. Good evening, good evening, my friends.
You got
We're
you got
here.
what?
Now I
Yeah,
just
welcome back. You trying to sound presidential?
trying to sound a little, I trying to sound a little prime ministerish, but I don't know if that's gonna work for me. Man, I ain't gonna down with that this one.
No, your
Talk
voice
to
ain't
me,
that deep.
Doug.
Your voice ain't that deep, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
But
you
anyways,
so right. You
welcome to
so
another
right.
episode of the Up Inside the Podcast.
Yeah.
Um, it's your boy Keita. We got your boy Chad with me up above me here.
What's going on, people?
Missing is our lovely co-host Janelle, who couldn't make it tonight due to some unforeseen circumstances.
But
Um,
speaking of unforeseen circumstances, you gotta let the people know exactly what we been missing for the past 2 weeks, though. Cause let me tell you, say, unforeseen circumstances can't done.
yeah,
Talk to the people,
it's
let them
true.
know what's going on. Let them know some of the
But
ironic things that was happening between us, man.
funny enough, me and Chad had two fakes at the same time, and both had to have extractions in the same week. So
Yeah,
tonight, so we could have talked extended for any particular period of time in that week. Then
yeah,
Janelle the teacher, as we know. So school is that whole system being complicated and
correct.
getting the Zoom thing set up. So it's been a lot. There's been a lot going on, a lot more too.
Right.
That's families, all sorts of different things. So it's been a
Yeah,
lot.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been quite a journey, and it's more like a roller coaster type of journey because you just don't know what's gonna hit you at any point in time. Like you just said, we had the similar issues with our dental health around the same time, and then I had to get an extraction. Keita had to get an extraction, so we couldn't talk. I had a little complication with mine and all kind of thing, man. Kita had a loss in the family. Ramal, which is our guy in the baron, who's give us this beautiful setup system. He had a loss in his family. Janelle was busy with the new requirements
yeah,
for the job, streaming online and teaching online classes. It has been a journey for
for
all
sure,
of Barbados, all of Barbados. So
for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure.
we just thankful that we could get things back together somewhat and get an episode out because
Yo,
this would be episode four
true.
or
Nah, well, this week will be episode 4, but this is technically
right,
episode
but
2.
this is episode two, right? Yeah, I over that there. So
Yeah, but
so uh
as I was saying, this is episode 2. This is Dors and Sense. But before we even get deep into the episode, let's get the sponsors one thing for
yeah,
me there,
man.
bro.
Yeah, that easy. You don't know we gotta give maximum respect to Trident's Cuts Barber Studio.
Yeah, for sure.
Andrew, I don't think Andrew get here yet, but Andrew, I gotta come and check you tomorrow, boy. I was talking, boy, going through this 2 week pause without getting a cleanup, but I don't think that I can get that do. We got big up barely sober entertainment.
Yeah, for sure.
Hoping we hoping and praying that everything normalizes between now and crop over so that one could sort out something for the people. We got
Yeah,
big up Alarosity, Media
media production,
Productions,
for sure.
and also we got to We got big at Seabell, which will be the menstrual cups. That alternative way for ladies to alleviate stress and strife from that very painful period. Um, no pun intended.
What a
So
way to put that, what a way to put that together, B. Wow.
yeah, I can't move my one know was Dors. I guess he in a Beijing. You don't
He
say
live in
Dors.
Asia,
I
but
want to.
he live in US. I mean, that's my brother live in the US.
That's your brother. I ski. Listen, you know me. I might bring when it's Cantonese. I completely forget. Kita brother that Dors mean dollars. Like $50. But we said Dors. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but
that's what that
yeah, but
mean.
you can't forget me first mobile massage therapy as well as one of the big sponsors for sure.
Yeah, and we
We've all
got
been in that
something
every
else. We
single
got
time.
something else coming. We got something else coming. Getting again in the background right now, getting little things deal with. But as soon as that sorted out, we can get that plug in as well.
Yeah.
So just stay
So
tuned for that.
so we are on to this week's episode of Dors and Sense at the Up Insider podcast. And anything you want to start with, Chad, from the get go?
Well, for the get go, I would like to put a subtext or subtitle for dollars and cents because that's what we have for 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Um, we got
But
add
it's,
it. We got
but
add
it's
right
still so
now.
relevant.
Yeah, very true. But we still got to add that this is the national pause edition.
So
Sorry.
this Dors and Sense
So
in national pause.
the national pause.
Pause the industry.
Yeah, yeah, it is a national pause because a lot of people calling it. Yeah, big up yourself, Jono. Thanks for coming in, brother. Um, we gotta let people know that because everybody calling it a lockdown, but it's actually not a lockdown like what we had in March to April and that period last year
Or
because
or
the
is it?
border is still open, well, or is it? But as far as I know, the border is still open. Movement
Mm-hmm.
still allowed to a certain extent. So I don't think it fits the determination of a lockdown period. I feel like it's more like they're trying to get control of the obvious
I
spiral
still,
that we
I
in right
still,
now.
I still feel it's more of a lockdown because your movement is still limited in a very huge way, as
Uh-huh.
well as to the interim where certain institutions aren't going to be open,
Right.
which would be a normal operating procedure for most people. And it's like
Mhm.
what hurting me the most is my people, my small businesses, my corner
Yeah.
man, my man that
Uh-huh.
used to shop that shut down. That really hurting me because I rather support them than most of the big
Well, well,
institutions.
I was listening to the address earlier this afternoon by
I missed
Dr.
them.
Kerry Simmons. Yeah, I know that you would have missed it, but that's the reason why I paid even closer attention to it this toss. The fact of the matter is that they said during the course of the lockdown last year, and they allowed the village shops to be open. Their reasoning behind keeping them closed this time around was because lawlessness was occurring where people would still gather, people would still be drinking and socializing and stuff. And he's saying that they do not have the number of people necessary in order to quote unquote police these areas, which he said is over 1,500 shops. I mean, at the end of the day, I try to be as open minded as possible because I could look at it from the poor man perspective, where um, if I look at it holistically, if I live in a specific district, if I don't have to leave my district, that's beneficial to the country. Because if I gotta go to Massy, I gotta get on public transport or I gotta get on the road and then I gotta also mingle with people outside of my district that I otherwise would not see. So I can understand it from that perspective. However, if we're looking at it from the Peter paying for Paul and Paul paying for all mentality, then you can also understand where they're coming from. Because if people doing lawlessness and doing things that are basically endangering the reasoning behind the shutdown or the pause or the lockdown, whichever version you want to call it, you gotta see it from that angle too. You know when they say A is gotta say B sometimes. So I try to be as open with it as possible. And I do have to side with the poor man in the regard that it is business that they're losing,
Correct.
right?
And
Is
I think
yeah.
from my end, I think that it's tough because A lot of people still trying to catch by the hand. In the new year, everybody know how tough January can be in the new year.
Bruh,
December has not been as fruitful as most people would like December to be. I know
bruh.
we get hit with a national pause, and
Welcome,
know
Chris. Big up yourself.
know that the law of national pause is not fair to the smaller amount. I mean, I understand the reasoning what they're saying, but
Mm,
to be honest, like is flexibility for the average person is a lot more flexible to probably go to a corner shop than getting Massy
yeah.
or not necessarily Massy per se, but a bigger institution, a bigger supermarket, and so on. And is like you can still interact with the same people in the bigger institutions. You still got one stamp in the link at those institutions and interact with
Mm.
people from all different aspects of life. I think, to be honest, you're at greater risk in the supermarket than going to a corner
A
store.
village shop.
Yeah, for the shop. So it's still
Mm.
it's still a risk to me. People can, regardless of what you do, people can find a way to rebel, and people can
Mm.
always do some sort of foolishness or misbehave or what they consider misbehaving, regardless.
Mm.
So if you can close the corner shops and what's not, is significantly going to impact on people's ability to do things because
Mm.
you can just increase the workload of the supermarkets doing that. So it's difficult to just say that I cool with that.
Right.
I can see that this can be a disaster.
All right. I seeing some comments here. Titus Roach, as usual. Welcome, my brother. Give thanks for always coming through. He was stating that the village shops they're in a justification for closing and down whatsoever. As I said before, I try to be as open-minded and as non-biased as possible with that situation. I gave my reasons to why I think it would have been beneficial for them to be open, but then I also gave my reason as to why I think that they will be closed. At the end of it all, we gotta understand that what we're going through right now is saying that unprecedented. No country in this world has ever been able to state we have done this before. Here is the rule book. Follow this and you're gonna be good. We are all playing in a game right now that there ain't no real rules. We trying things. It's trial and error. We can get some things right. We can get some things wrong. Everybody ain't gonna agree. I feel like people need to be more open-minded and give things an
Yeah,
opportunity to
I
work.
I
You
agree
know,
to
to
that
prove,
extent
to
because
prove, to prove if it can be beneficial or if it's saying that needs to be discarded or amended. That's how I
I
feel.
agree. I agree to that extent because it's, for instance, like everybody was like, yeah, we need a lockdown, we need a lockdown. No, the lockdown come or the pause, what you want to call it.
Yeah,
Everybody's like, nah, don't pause, no, don't pause, no, don't pause, no. And it's like it's sometimes you feel like in this circle where Bidens don't really know what they want.
yeah,
Before we had a government that never used to talk to we, now we got a
right,
government that talking to we too much, or they
right.
consider talking to we too much.
Facts. That's
And I don't know,
also true.
and I don't know if it's that they're talking to us too much, or it's just that we get stuck us into not hearing from a government that it seems as though they're talking to us too much. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So I
uh-huh,
appreciate the information. Don't get me wrong, but
uh-huh.
a long drawn out conference every couple of days ain't really the go
Ain't
to for
really the
me.
move. I feel
Yeah,
you. All
I
right, we
I
got
I, I would
Capricorn. Capricorn born 16. He says, well, I thinking is a fella. I ain't sure. Sorry about that if you're not. He says, I think more thought needs to be going into decisions like this, especially if you're asking the elderly to stop home. If you could be a little more specific as to why you think that the elderly should not be home, based
yo
on the
see.
fact that they are the most vulnerable persons who will probably got existing symptoms or dispositions within themselves. You gotta help me to
But
understand
but
where
you
you're
know
coming from in that regard.
the reality of that is that the elderly don't want to start home. The elderly ain't gonna start home. The elderly are the most difficult people to actually give instructions to
Yeah, I
because
would know that.
they
And
are
you
the
as a
most
fella that's
stubborn.
working, but you would know that.
Yeah, I know how hard
Especially when
it
it's come to change. Especially when it's come to
is.
change, they don't really be that welcoming to
Yeah,
change.
no, but that's
But
the
you see, yet
thing.
again, that's something that you cannot do anything about because
So
you could
proceed.
give rules, but people is the people that go accept and follow the rules. So if
So
the group
what
of
happens?
elderly
So
people,
what's happening if the elderly move? There's get put in prison, like there's the jail, like you gonna
well,
lock them up, you
that
gonna fine
that would
them.
be that would be a question that you will go that the journalists will go ask people like Bostic, Simmons, Miss Motley, Miss Thompson, and the like. Because I ain't in the position to answer that question. I don't know what I'm gonna do because, as far as I concerned, I don't think that we heard anything about penalties in regard to people being
Because
found over the run without a reason.
my man Fitzherbert or Fitzgerald, he can do Glenderry or he can do Dodds. Like how my man Fitzherbert or my man or
Harcourt.
my man, yeah. How my
Yeah,
man
well,
Harcourt.
well, the truth is, dog, is that it at them. That's the reality. The fact of the matter is that if you want to put your life at risk, like let me say this though. Just yesterday, I was passing through Bell Plain, right, and I saw some elderly people standing outside talking to the one another, and they were wearing masks. So I
Mm.
gotta commend them for that because as soon as certain people heard that there was community spread, when they finally admitted to the fact that community spread was taking place, I found
Oh,
that more people started to wear their masks, even in their home districts, talking to people over the wall.
there
That's
was
what I
community spread.
noticed.
Oh, I didn't realize, man.
You didn't hear about that?
I
Oh
guess
man.
I guess that's one express that you just can't believe is not butter. I guess is I don't know. Maybe I probably was before my time. I swear to how community spread from early January, maybe late December. Maybe
But
I'm wrong.
hello, but hello, nah, listen. At the end of the day, I want you to know that when we have the first episode, I actually didn't bring up the comp. I can't remember if I asked the question if we want to admit to the fact that there is community spread and they're not talking about it, or if we can continue to pull the wool over the eyes. Because if I had said that when I was gonna say it, I can get called all kind of conspiracy theorists, I can get called this and get called that. It's only when people within a trusted position that got clout and the ability to say something and people believe it, then all of a sudden Chad ain't look like a conspiracy theorist.
I agree. I
So I
agree
mean,
with
common
man.
sense go around, but weird though.
I agree with
Um,
Stephen
all right,
100%. He would
yeah,
say journey lockdown last year, the corner shot was very important, and I don't believe
yeah,
it. I don't believe this, and I agree
I
100%
agree. I
because
agree with that
last
too.
year when they had the full shutdown
Yeah.
and they had the alphabet system, which I fully agree with the alphabet system when it comes to certain aspects because
Yes, I
the
agree
alphabet
with that
system
too.
works. To me, the alphabet system is some sort of uniformity that works. But
Yeah,
last year I had that, and they went to the corner shop. I would get through way faster,
of course,
way
of
easier
course.
than if I have to leave and go to the supermarket. And even outside a pandemic or even outside of COVID or whatever, going to a corner shop for me is more beneficial for me because they keep them money in my people's pockets.
Well, Steve, you basically talking the things that I spoke before you to get here. Steve saying that also the corner shops. Sorry, when
Yeah,
you said during lockdown last year, the corner shop was important. I don't believe it should shut the shops, but also these corner shops also have gathering spots for some, and I don't think we have enough resources to monitor each shop. That's exactly what Dr.
yeah,
Kerry Simmons said this
yeah.
afternoon. That's
That's it.
exactly what he
Yeah,
said,
you are quote right
and
there.
you have to recognize both situations and both angles. You cannot be open-minded and then want to be closed-minded because it ain't beneficial on one end. You have to recognize both carry valid points because they're gonna got people that gonna walk about do as I feel like doing because it's like, oh, this is St. Andrew, so we ain't really got a big law police presence like the plane, so we could do as we want. Like it's not right. It don't make
I,
it right.
I
And
see
the
your
fact
point,
of the
but
matter is that when you can't police people, you gotta control them. So what you could do about that? That to me, that's what
nobody ain't telling the self, man, cool your ass. I can relax myself.
right.
Everybody
Nobody ain't
getting
saying
back
that.
out. So it's like, yo, we doing what we want to do. It.
Listen, you think that if Christmas season naturally you used to be home for 2 weeks, right? People will start home like normal and be cool. You see when somebody tell you got to start home, all of a sudden everybody's one left home. Is
Yeah,
a mentality thing.
yes.
But listen though, I want to talk a little bit about saying here. So I want to talk about this extended summer vacation that children got right now. Because
Yeah,
I
extended.
speak to a lot of people, yeah, we're gonna call it extended because the men went back into the school since. So there's what I can tell
They
you
don't know
here
my
now
school.
though. Yeah, brother, nobody up on the road, school children. You was on drive on the road. You
But
don't
I thought they
recognize
doing,
how easy and clean the road
but
is. There are
but but
no
they
people
doing,
at school.
but
Then
they
the
doing
children
online
at school.
classes. But they doing online
Online
classes.
class, right, by calling it extended summer vacation because based on the parents that I talk with on a daily basis, they tell me how much stress they're catching, how the children, especially the children young, the children in keeping quiet, they gotta put extra effort behind this. And I wanna know really and truly how these households surviving because I know when children home, they're always hungry. So
Exactly.
I know that if you got some kind of structure for you child set up right now, it's almost like summer vacation where children constantly be like, Mommy, Daddy hungry, Mommy, Daddy bored, Mommy, Daddy hungry, Mommy, Daddy bored. So it's like what
Mm.
I wanna know how parents dealing with this thing where the only people that I could see right now that are probably smiling at this whole situation is teachers, for parents now to recognize the stress and the drama that teachers
Mm.
had with 15, 20, sometimes almost 30 children in a class, yeah.
Mm.
You understand? When you got police a child to sit down and pay attention and keep quiet and that's let me tell you, I am so thankful that I ain't got no child that is 4, 5, 6 years old right now that I gotta sit down with a computer to tell them keep quiet and pay attention to what going on. Real thing.
But you feel that the parents can really understand what it is to deal with a child because they gotta deal with their child all day know. Because I still think that
Man,
the quickest thing
they
the
gotta get a little
quickest thing
something.
the quickest thing most parents do is get a child a tablet or some sort of cell phone to keep them quiet. And I
But
guess
it's
the realize
different.
that can't work no.
Yeah,
But
it's
it's
different
different.
because they ain't like they saying up on YouTube watching videos or cartoons or playing games. They gotta
Now
sit
they
down,
gotta do school, but they gotta do
they
schoolwork.
gotta do schoolwork, and
But
there's a brand new dynamic. So everybody ain't gonna be acclimatized to it. So you, the
like
parent, have to sit there and look, talk about the parents now that working from home that gotta do work and deal with a
yeah,
child. Woo, woo, woo.
yeah,
I
looks
feel
ain't
for
around.
one.
Pure licks. Pure
I
licks.
feel
But
for one.
I feel as though it could work, but it gotta be a strategy.
Yeah, you can need structure in that household, boy.
You gotta be straight about the structure you put in place because like you
Hey,
could say
teacher.
certain things, but you know they always got children that ain't gonna pay attention in class, and it's
Hey,
really
of
easy to
course,
not pay attention when you're home. I see
of
these sort of
course.
I see sort of fortunes that the students doing already in this term that come already, and
Uh-huh.
I'm doing beer junk inside class, trying to take over the teacher performance, and somebody leaving class and go outside and bring sheep and all sorts like beer fortune, crazy things that going on, and it's be like, hey, I know that, but I one thing I know for sure is that children will find a way to do innovative things to not be in class. So don't be
Uh-huh.
surprised, if you hear about a child find some sort of app to make himself a screensaver in the people class and not be there.
Uh-huh.
You understand?
Right.
And these children are real creative. Yeah, don't that.
All right. All right. Let me ask you this yes or no. There's a question that I want to ask you personally, Keith, and the people that hear so could chime in.
My man Steve knows that these shows dumb as hell. That
Yeah,
one
that
child
the
said that
favorite
the
color is
favorite
tree.
color is free.
Listen, I want to know from you, Keita, do you feel or do you think
Yo,
that the government of Barbados, the current government of Barbados, had bitten off more than they could chew in regard to the opening of borders and the flooding of tourism that restarted when we came out of the lockdown since. I want
I,
to know how you feel about that.
I, it's interesting, right?
People in the chat, let me know how you feel about that too. Give me some
I
feedback
know
there
to
on
bite
that.
off more. I won't say bite off more than true because I mean, yeah, the borders are open, but ain't like a huge amount of tourists coming. Or the ain't
Uh,
like peak numbers for a regular year. Tourists come, yeah, but ain't like peak tourists by any day is
uh,
still going down to infrastructure and management of these things. I ain't saying that you should go police. I ain't saying that you should go police people that come out here to tell them that yo, this is you gotta get a quarantine facility and hold on here. I don't think you should even get these stage where you would have put bans on people to track the movement. But just like
uh,
children, adults is the same. Everybody like to rebel from what the law is. So
yeah, yeah.
you can find that sort of structures. People at hotels or quarantine centers trying to break out. We gotta look no deep down and say like the security of these places and how these people getting out. Who accepting these Dors and Sense to go because
Uh, uh,
mom might not be working. Mom may not be working for 4 or 5 months and get back his job at a hotel and he's supposed to watch and make sure people ain't getting out and a mom might come from overseas and say, yo, mate, he could ease you a couple dollars, but he just want to ease what you bought. He ain't looking for he income. He ain't got an income, so he real accepting of a bribe. So things is happening. So
Uh-huh.
I don't think that we, but it's all more really true. It's just that the management of this place have not been the best.
Right. I was just repeating the question there, so for Steve Boy that you was talking. In my opinion, right, I
But
believe that
you see what Tyrone said before you move off that the only thing that
what?
increased, the only thing that has changed is the volume of testing.
Okay. We was outside for 7 months towards the rivals was down 80%. The only thing that changed was the volume of testing. Okay. But what about the blame game that we were supposed to be avoiding that get put on the bus crawl situation, and then when we find out the source of majority
No, it's super spreading.
of the positive COVID tests that returned were from the West Coast, we
You
ain't seen
talk
nobody
about
come back and address and apologize to the
you talk
public
about
about that
brownie
there.
and
So
banana. Talk about brownie and banana.
listen,
It's
don't be
super
going
spreader.
down like big man. You want to be serious. You would you would not brand you up and anything. I don't want to talk none of that here. So as far as I'm concerned, they owe the people an apology for putting them at the forefront and making it seem as if the public of Barbados was wrong for asking the question about those events that happened the Boxing Day when they had that big thing on the beach, and then the situation in the West Coast. The people owed a conversation for that day. So there was something I was gonna say. You made me forget. Cause you talk about Brandy and Panani.
Brownie and banana beef.
Oh, I know. Remember what it is. Let me tell you something. Yes or no, right? I know. Remember because who she name Lace Thompson. You know, Lace Thompson come back in and she's the sports person. No, because me and Motley can be the forefront all the time. All right. You recall that there was a point in time when things was real bad in terms of testing, in terms of results not coming on time, people having to
Yeah,
go over the amount of time that they would have paid for a hotel stay, etc., etc. Let me tell you something, right? Yet again, I always try to be as open-minded to things as possible. But let me say this here, so, and I even write a whole sentence for it, dog. I mean that I didn't want to forget nothing. I can read this here, so no, right? I got it more as travelers. Travelers. People truly need to be more understanding. Your world may be crumbling, but there are things bigger than us happening. And that is in regard to the people who come here on leisure while they got a pandemic going on in the world and expect that we government gonna pay for them because them pay for 3 days in a hotel, and then all of a sudden, oh, my time is being cut into. What about this? And then now let me go back to the point where that she was apologizing on behalf of the people because of that gentleman that did not get to bury his father. Brother, I am sorry that you did not get the opportunity to get your test back so that you could go and see your father, right? And what and get him buried. But I want you to know that there are people out here right now in Barbados that cannot attend funerals. And we're in quarantine because if as far as I'm concerned, you know that the government said that only X amount of people could go to a funeral.
really, yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, if it is my cousin that passed away, right? And I can't go because I ain't quote unquote immediate family. So you know the mommy gonna go, the daddy gonna go, the he brothers and sisters
But like
might
you said,
go. The people that they want in terms of officiating the thing, that's the 10 people there already. So I can't see my family get buried, but I gotta still be understand. And sometimes you know what, you ain't gonna get a life. So for me, I was like, why is she on national TV apologizing to a person in that manner when they got people out here right
mm,
now that feeding and feeling difficulty behind the COVID-19 restrictions, but people coming in here so on a plane and expecting to be treated differently, and they're making provisions for that. We are giving these tourist people too much blasted power. We are making them feel as if they are too important or more important than the people here. I can't get behind that.
it's true.
I ain't got
I,
a
I,
problem with that.
I agree to a certain extent because
Straight.
I feel as though we the third world country. I feel as though as a
I don't give a
national
shit.
Barbados,
That's how I feel.
is less than the tourist because the local because you can't treat people that come here better than you treat people that live here.
As you coming here so
Well, you understand me
to
first?
vacation, I think in the pandemic, you forfeit the right to be bitching about being stuck in a hotel room, skipper. All of we lives gain inconvenience, not just your stand to ask where you belong. Because if you and then the next thing you see in the paper, UK strain of COVID-19 found in Barbados. So what they ask when they expect when the landing UK people when they don't think that the COVID strain gonna land, but we man, look, man, you sick of people waiting over this conversation. Like, they ain't got no sense here. I ain't care nothing about none of these people that traveling right now talking about leisure and that sort of shit and people lives naturally and out here so in danger. We ain't care nothing about one. We're gonna, yes, and what? Let me talk no
Well,
about money. Let me talk no about money.
there's strong words. You want freak
Let
like
me talk,
tourists?
dog,
Nah, you can't freak
dog.
tourists.
One of the North from the
Tourism,
beginning,
tourism is still a very important factor in Barbados. I see a thing because we,
Kita,
we really depend on tourism. I
Kita,
ain't seen, I ain't seen that.
I can say it to you, right? Sorry that I cutting you off, but I can say this to you. Like I said, I try my utmost to always be as neutral as possible whenever I speaking about topics or I engage in a topic. But I got to remember that I can still got a bias because I am a national of Barbados. I
which
belong
is
here,
which is
right?
understandable. I ain't saying that you're wrong. I just saying that at the end of the day, we still need the tourists, but the privileges that we giving them is bullshit. You
So let me,
understand?
but where you think that
Tourism,
they getting that feel from? Somebody big, somebody at top got to be giving these people the belief system that they can come here, escape the rules of their country, and do as they please here. It has to be coming from somewhere at the top, brother. It is not happening from the hotels and the people that dealing with them. It has to happen from the top. Because how can you in your right mind say, I'm going to go to Barbados and have a wonderful time in the sun and the sea and the sand while the UK is, I guess, doubling or tripling the number of cases that they're getting daily. I can come up here and do as I like. The God began it somewhere, enabling God be happening from somewhere, dog.
point
So
there.
I am saying, based on what Elizabeth Thompson would have stated on the TV when she to get the first go around, I am counteracting from the average Bajan that is utter jobby.
Child boy.
I ain't business with that.
I won't be
I'm
a
business
tourist
with it.
show about. I won't be a tourist show about no then because I feel as though they got privileges from being a tourist. I won't be a tourist bad. But you was getting on to another topic though.
Where I was gonna talk about money. Um, there was a conversation two weeks ago about the same covering situations where people would have been if you come in for if you were to pay for 3 days and then you test that 6 days, we gonna deal with the tree and so on and so forth. I want to know where that money coming from because we just got nurses, we've got doctors, we've got fair people that sometimes go 3 to 4 months without pay. Where are you finding the money to be covering these losses and you are not dealing with your own? That's my next question. Where the money coming from? Because when it coming out every day, coming on TV talking about, but that used to be an initiative we don't say it no more talking about, or we can be going through districts and clapping for essential workers. We can do this dollar shite and all kind of foolishness. What the ass are you thinking when you're talking about representation of essential service persons when they themselves have families to feed? But yet you could tell people you can cover their losses in the hotel and you can talk about return trips and all kind of thing.
But
Where?
my thing is with our whole system, like we gotta look at what the problem is in our system. So if somebody tests supposed to take 3 days and it's taking 6 days, why is it taking 6 days? Why are we putting ourselves in a vulnerable position to trying to compensate people? Why is it taking 6 days as opposed to three?
Well,
Is there
you
a
gotta
problem?
look at it.
Is there a
You
problem because of the volume of tests? Is a challenge getting back the
of
amount of.
course
So do
we
we need to
dealing with
hire?
people. We
Do
dealing
we
with
need
people, Kita.
Yeah. So do you need to hire more people, or is it something machinery ways that needs
And,
to
and,
change?
and where that gonna
Yeah.
happen? Where that gonna happen? You know that sometimes you going to government office. They got 5 booths created. This pre-COVID. They got 5 booths created. How often? How? Tell me what government office you have ever entered and seen booths, cashiers, whatever, are all of them filled at the same time? Name one. And you entire adult life.
I
None.
can't. I
So
can't.
so my point is, right, during this particular time where we know that we should be more efficient, we gotta get people in and out of areas faster. We don't want got bottleneck situations. You should have said, you know what? We just got hundreds of nurses leaving BCC every single year, and before COVID, they did not have space for them people. But during this pandemic, where nurses, doctors, and the like are so essential, you should have been looking for people to cover those bases so that people ain't tearing out, people ain't burning out, people ain't running out, people ain't using got education and ain't putting it into practice. This is the time now for people to be exercised highly. No, I just don't understand why this coming to me so easy from a common sense point of view. We just always use the conversation of money.
Because you're looking at it too logical. You gotta look at the expenditure and how much people want to cut costs in certain areas, and people might take out money and grants and loans from other institutions, and still trying to comply with the World Health Organization. But at the same time, all the money they take out, they're trying to transfer it down to just put that money in other places when it's supposed to be for a pandemic grant. So you
Uh,
people might be spending money in the wrong areas and trying to cover it up by not hiring staff or not hiring enough people. People like top is mismanaged businesses all the time. That's not the only business or the only company you ever see have minimal staff, being overworked, and then it destroys the quality of the
mhm.
work and extends period. And the first
Right.
thing I would say, it's happening all over.
That's a very good point. That's a
It's
very
happening
good
all
point
over.
because this is my
So
thing. I know plenty nurses as well. And when I just hear them talking, I just hear about frustration. I got a friend overseas who told me that they got a lot of doctors in the states that committed suicide. They got nurses that really are depressed and that sort of thing because it
yeah,
can't be easy seeing the volume of people dying every single day. Then you could do, you can't comfort them. Then a way that hey, look, let the situation turning, and that's them. Here now, you got less people in the hospital working. You got less nurses, less doctors. They're not being paid. They're not being looked after. They're not being protected. But yet you say every week that the essential we in it together and we need
we
to
can
rally
clap.
when we want it. Are
We
you
can get them
seeing
a
the
we can get
rallying?
them a dollar that can glow in the dark and clap. That should be good enough. I mean, like that seems as though that's a fair deal. It isn't.
But that's what I'm saying though.
That is our reality we live
If
in.
for example, like
Because
I
you,
said before
cause
COVID, go
look
ahead,
at
go ahead.
look at the change in what a nurse life was before to what it is now. Look at the change of what most of our lives is before. Is either one extreme T nets. You will either have a lot of work coming in and it going right down, or somebody that ain't had no work. Their work has significantly increased by at least 200, sometimes even 250%. So for the nurse, know
Mm.
that working, though, their workload has increased significantly because they're being called to do more than what they are usually doing or what can usually be done. And what they were in before nurse ways at the hospital, they were stretched, extremely stretched
Uh,
before this pandemic even
right,
started. I know with the
correct.
pandemic and your workload has significantly increased, it is even worse now. So they are going to feel depressed. They're going to be suicidal and conditions like that. So
And you got also factor in that they don't know themselves if they're exposing their loved ones to that virus as well. That's also another thing to get stressed about. You understand? So
yeah,
I just feel like people when I say people, I mean the people that is control movement, legislation, decision making, etc. Need to really and truly allow people who do not have that entitlement, that privilege, and that background of money and classism, I think they need to allow average people to weigh in on these situations so that they can get closer to them. Because let me say this right about our prime minister. Our prime minister can stay as many times as she likes, she about the people and all that stuff, but our prime minister does not know what poverty feels like. She was not born into it. She was not molded by it. You understand? The average Bajan knows what it is like sometimes to say, yo, I got my last $20 here. I can hold on to this here, so this is how I can operate this. This is how I can skip this bill this month. And next month, when I get back the money that Larry said that he can pay me for the job I do for he, I can make sure that I iron out that situation. She does not know. Most of them do not know what true poverty or just above the poverty line feels like. They don't know it. So they need to open up the opportunity for people to come in and offer advice from the average Joe. And I'm talking about not smiley people that can go up in there and feel that I arrive now because Mia want me next to she. I am speaking about people that are going to
But
be
at the same time, at the
fat.
same time, some
Huh.
of these same ministers, some of these same ministers that in cabinet went through poverty, country poverty to get to where they are. Not all of them did was rich people or
Of course not.
grow up fortunate. So they still gonna be within the same community or a circle of people that in that region. Not all of them, they make it out of poverty. They might be a politician, but they're still in circles and hearing the reasoning from people on the ground as to what's going on. So it might not just be that. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool mouth. Yeah, so it might not just be that. So
All right.
it's a lot more. Yep.
All right. Now
It's
he
time
means
to ready.
17. He means 17.
No, yeah, 17 minutes left. Yeah,
Right.
we
I
talking
see
about,
seven pop up, but
yeah,
yeah.
me
All right.
too.
Yeah, so yeah, you know how mass and thing is. So we talk about the travelers, we talk human reaction, this. All right. So don't forget though that I don't know if everybody would have listened. I don't know if the messages, cause um after every conference that we usually put together the most important points and send that out.
Yeah,
There, don't forget that the city beaches gonna be open from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. They also stated
69.
that if you as a yeah
Six,
as
wait,
a
6 a.m. to what? 9 a.m.?
9 a.m. yeah,
3 hours?
it's back to the same situation from before, kiddo.
There's a cruise on Dream Chaser.
Man, anyhow,
Three hours?
there also was an email address that they're telling people with the small shops, the hair salons, tire businesses, all of those shops that will be suffering from the 2 week pause.
Uh-huh.
They said commerce dot small business at barbados.gov.bb. That is commerce dot small business at barbados.gov.bb.
What
That
I gonna do for
is
them?
the email. That's for them to send in the information about their business, what type of business they have. They gotta give the banking information
What can be done for
to
them?
get. They're supposed to be getting some money. Like this is something certain
They ain't
shops gonna be getting seven
compensate.
fifty a week. Yeah, they're gonna
750.
get 750 a week, and then the smaller shops now gonna be getting 250 or something like that. It's something like that. I believe that the WhatsApp people can start sending out that information and things. But another thing that I want to mention too quickly is
Yeah, I know see
vigilance and
Tyrone.
common sense.
I know
Huh?
see Tyrone message saying there too. Which I
What's
remember
that?
hearing from the press conference before today that they got door to door testing throughout the
That's what I
lockdown.
know. That's what I know about to talk about, which is the vigilance and common sense.
How you feel
I
about that though?
want, but this way I can say no. I can talk about the safe purpose first. What I want to say to people is that you got to understand that there's got some very bold individuals that will come and pose like if them is the people that are supposed to be conducting testing, and then they break into your house and they illegally enter your home. So you gotta be mindful. You gotta be
Somebody
aware of what's going on. You got
asked you to
to
repeat the email address.
yeah. I can type it in shortly.
All right,
When I
cool.
got to be vigilant, if we know that I got certain people within the district that are more vulnerable, like elderly people or women who live by themselves and that sort of thing. When it need to be when a brother and when a sister's keeper because people do take advantage of the situation. I even hear it's serious, right? As that they got a bogus vaccine that people start selling governments and all kind of thing, and they're already in the Caribbean, dog. I heard
That's
that.
so much right here. So what is vaccine called to do? What is
I
vaccine called again?
all the things that you see on TikTok that the people making sport about, that's exactly what it is. That it's probably doing the people got the shaking and turning into things. Or any whole commerce or small business or whatever. We does it there, so
But
we does it
you
there,
know
so.
already this door testing and got scammers out there that can come play the door testing and want to rob you. I think ahead. People, how we supposed to know who's legitimate and who are legitimate and that come in to test you? People looking to come in your house and rob and steal and rape and that sort of thing, though.
Well,
Real?
all of them there, so will come and get the blood and the my callings, my rusty callings. That's what will happen. That's all it is. Try to come in here, so that way you get. That's
Yeah,
all it
that
is.
would be you. But for the average person or for the elderly or what's not, these people can't road testing or what's not. Yeah, it can't stick saying anything you knows, but you might get again sticker and get robbed.
Bro, as far as they concerned too though, you see that and that host testing thing, I already with that, I already with that. I against that myself. Personally. Excuse me. So I mean it's up to people if they plan to comply as far as I concerned. As far as I am concerned, I think people have the right to decline to be tested, but it's
Before
up to
prejudice.
each individual. That's your host. Is your host also?
Declare before prejudice, so you mean?
Well, yeah.
You declare that in, you get blacklist for anything.
Well, that such is life. As far as they concerned, when it is that somebody tell you to do something, you know that you don't want to do it, you have the right to not do it. You're your own individual. So just if you know that it is not for you and you don't want to do it, just don't do it. That's how I feel about it.
It just feel as though this COVID got it feel as though in a cult right now, but the truth. It feel like
Yeah,
in a
man.
cult.
Not really feeling like in a cut. I feel it's more like a law control because just last night a friend and I were talking about how conditioned people become into the to curfew and stuff. Like when you see outside a certain thing outside be quiet, nobody in on the
Yeah.
road, nobody ever
Yeah.
looking
It's
outside,
weird though.
nothing. Yeah,
It's
it's
weird
so
though.
weird.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
so weird.
I mean, yeah, it got advantages, but yeah, it got disadvantages too. Anybody would tell you that it is. Cause freedom of movement is a real difficult thing. That's our thing. So you never know. Like people get impacted in different ways when it comes to these sort of things. Like the average man that move early or move late, it's got to reconsider the whole schedule. You can't forget something or miss and do something, and you time run down. Whatever you gotta do everything by a particular thing. Like for me,
Hmm.
getting work, I just gotta make sure as a man, sometimes be at work late. I just gotta make sure that I work by a particular time. Cause I ain't looking to get locked up for work.
Right.
I ain't looking to get funny for work. But I see a time it got positives. Yeah, the road be quiet and what's not a little quiet. Ain't hurt nobody yet. You know what I mean? But nah, boy, it can't ever let this here forever. I could take it. I can't live with this forever. Certain places shine early. You can't get the gas station, but at certain time you left work. You won't get sent. You might want to but at a certain time, you might go close to, but at a certain time, it's a lot. It's a lot attacking though. It's a lot.
Yeah. Social, like they're saying, social regimenting and conditioning, freedom of movement is in our constitution. But along with the constitution, there has always got the government stating that they could enact martial law, and when martial law come in, all that talk about constitution and democracy and freedoms and all that shit going through the window, brother.
That your phone not ring?
Yeah, people calling
That
over
me
and over.
calling you. That me
Listen to
calling you,
me.
boy.
Don't
That
call
me calling
here.
you.
Don't
Me
call
calling you,
here.
boy.
Don't call
I
here.
feel I feel me calling you there. No, you talking
Well,
about somebody else.
if she calling me, she should got my cell phone number.
Oh,
Let
you
she
surf
call
rap.
my cell phone.
You surf rap.
Yeah, let she call my cell phone number. And I talking with nobody need less money and talk. Cause right now I got prepare for the lockdown too. I gotta get my bath gels and I gotta get my canned tuna and that sort of thing to live.
But I hope you can buy then sardines from a small amount as opposed to go wait and get that feed the buy from some market. They know they got certain things you got to buy some market for sure.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
can't buy from a small amount. I can last after a thing. Like for instance, a lot of people like bread. And bread is saying you usually buy from corn shop or bread mine, that sort of thing. But to go to the supermarket just for bread, big man, I ain't getting to the supermarket just for bread. That's rough. That's madness.
Yeah. Yeah, big up my like years Z, no see years Z. You know,
Yeah,
maybe in the
big up,
chat.
bro. Big up, bro.
Martial law would be them declaring their hand. Yeah, obviously, Titus. You don't know there's always got mechanisms in place. It's almost like what do you call that now? Process of elimination where you would recognize that you bread ain't sharp and you care. So what you do, you look at the bread pad. The bread pad good, you check the line and see if it got air in it. They ain't got no air in the line. So then you go and check you have bread side the back or the other bread side the back. You go look at it that way. The government just doing things before the declare the hand fully because it's the same thing as when they were trying to get things under control so that they wouldn't have to admit to the fact that there's a community spread. But then eventually that had to come. But we don't know the community spread that happened in every sense. Because the end of it, cases could be spiking in this manner. And then, oh, yeah, when you think about it common sensibly, the people that wouldn't have known that they got the virus would have gone home, mingle with their family will mingle with people, then people will mingle with people, and done in the community. So they like you know what I mean? It just everywhere. So yeah, let me keep it going, man. Let me see what the people here saying. Breakfast is come on.
Ricola, remember Ricola? I don't know.
Ah,
That was good. That's actually a really question. That was letting us the can for truth because they can be looking for you from early.
but know that you said so right. Know that it said I want that the door closed. Ain't very short because you know enough be just with dead.
Yeah,
If you know how to buy your flour and make some rolls, I think
yeah, you would
you
definitely.
know you were dead for you. I know people like
They
that.
got me eat some flow, but don't worry, big man. Look at my more bread and that sort of thing during this
Yeah,
period of time. Yeah,
I
and
have
make
never had
that
one more in my health system. Drinking a brandy or two. Yeah, the concern has to be the sick, of course. Better learn how to bake bread.
it's
That what
true.
Sherry tell you. Sherry tell you better learn
You
bake
know,
bread, kid.
you know, you could attest that I could be to a certain extent, right? So you could touch with me.
Yeah. You don't know what. Well, I mean, anybody that's following me or you on Instagram would
You
have
see this
recognized
already?
maybe it was late that night,
Yeah,
and they had to left with you by a certain thing to get home before the
you.
curfew. Yeah. But you remember he come up, my love, he come up the road, that we can hear, come up the road. That some boy messaged me and said, you can't be in XYZ part of St. Philip and expect to get to St. Andrew at 10. He said, listen,
Yeah.
you should I know Star Driving play, right? I know what time it is, man. Anyhow, Kita, it's 5 minutes
Yeah,
there. Let me start to wrap up this episode. This episode is sweet. And
yeah, super true.
it feel like we never had to beat off Russ and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I miss people
Talk
though.
to
I miss
me.
people in chat. I miss interacting with
Yeah.
people in chat for sure for the past couple of weeks and even for the past couple of months because we start about with one episode, but then before then we had a little pause for Christmas and I think and Independence. But it was
Yo,
good.
big
It
up,
was
I'm
good
like
to rock.
record boy. I can't
Yeah,
be recording no line. Big up the Colombian nurses, man. And Liz had me laughing tonight how she was talking about commerce.smallbusiness at
nah, look
barbados.gov.bb.
before.
Dot bb.
Yeah. Commerce.gov.bb, you said?
Yeah. Commerce at gov
Oh,
at
commerce.gov.bb.
gov.bb because she was talking too fast, right? So she nearby Washington. But
Right.
you finish the address there, my brother. Talk to the people,
Yeah,
let them know what's going
I
on.
was just saying a big thank you to everybody that come up tonight for sure because this
I know.
episode I didn't feel rusty at the beginning, but it went on nice and everything, and the interaction was nice with the people in chat. It was good hearing the views and opinions of the folks given the lockdown, or sorry, the national pause. Wait, let me set up for this. Pause and industry. Right. The national pause that's supposed to come into play next week. I know that happened over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The want to know what gonna happen. People saying, "Oh, what happened with February 1st and second? Like them days right off the calendar or what?" But you know, I just, I just want to
Well,
see.
I said that she's speaking greatly. Anyhow, go on, though.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
it's still getting on with there, man. But I want everybody to stay safe.
Yeah, fine.
This period of time for sure, and stay home and do as much as they can without interacting with other people. Let these
Yeah,
people do what they're supposed to do, that we
yeah,
interested to do. Let them do what they're
yeah,
supposed to do, and hopefully they
yeah,
can back decent information because I miss getting like I miss
yeah.
hanging out, I miss getting on cruises, I miss some, I just miss everything that everybody's missing. I miss getting on, I enjoy myself and that's everything too, and you know I won't be able to go outside again. So let me try to do this thing properly, man.
Location ping and get dropped smooth. That way, yeah, so here comes some foolishness. But anyway, people, as usual, give thanks for coming in. For me, I just want people to be safe. Don't go there so up on the road and be ignorant. You know the road gonna be foolish. Because as much as me and Motley want to come and say, oh, people do not panic, but prepare. I tell them when I know when I done know the road's gonna be foolish for tomorrow. So be safe out there. I want one of to recognize now when I
Yeah,
can go back to having to free bets and that sort of thing when I know I left out your fat and all the things. I just keep telling the people left out the fast food though. I don't
yeah,
understand
that's up for sure.
why when it's back out so when I gotta do without it for the next couple of weeks, why when I can't continue it regularly. Like try to cut some food or something. But anyhow, take
You
the
missing
2 weeks
too,
to
Terry,
repair
man.
to relax, repair, all that sort of thing, get some sleep, get some rest, do some things around when the host, that when they get the opportunity to do so that when the days will pass. That's what I do. What I do sometimes if I got that much going on like today, deal with the care, deal with washing, deal with
Yeah,
your bedroom, deal with the cleaning. But man, I was so busy today and so productive. I ever recognized when the thing disappeared was a year ago. I get ready for this podcast, so it's gonna start with no points. But give thanks again. We thankful. I
yeah.
looking forward to seeing you next week. Cause when I got there to do some action, when I'm in here with the numbers, spread the
We can be
message, let the people know.
we can be talking to the serious topics now. We ain't sure we serious topics is yet, but we sure that
Yeah,
something will happen between now and then that I can reveal. But I'm hoping that next week is even better episode because numbers can be even lower in the COVID testing and so on. So it's been great. It's been real. I want to share
exactly.
much love and peace out to everybody in the chat,
Give
man.
thanks, people. As always, give thanks. Give thanks.